One of the most significant change that has happened in ISO 9001 2015 is inclusion of a risk-based thinking approach. In fact, this requirement made the standard far more management standard than a technical standard. So you as an auditor need to have a great understanding. You as an implementer need to develop a thorough understanding how to assess risk, how to consider risk, and how to implement or address this requirement. In fact, quality management system is all about managing the risk. And I'll talk about why certain clause has been removed from the standard and risk-based thinking has been included. How the risks has to be considered, not only risk. The standard also requires the organization to consider opportunities. If someone considers only risk, nobody possibly would take any venture. Nobody would venture out for any new business opportunity, new organization. There is a saying, there is no risk, there is no gain as well. But by not taking a risk, you might miss the most splendid opportunity you could have created for yourself and for the organization that you manage or aspire to develop a new world for your organization. So it's not only about risk. You have to see the opportunities. The standard does not require you to calculate risk, but to assess risk, determine risk, consider risk, and bring those risks under control so that you can you can capitalize the opportunities, keep the risks under control so your organization moves. And this risk is something that when we talk about ISO 9000, we have to talk about risks with regard to the quality of product and services and overall delivery of the product. So if anything can affect product quality, service quality, and of course delivery, those are the kind of risks you have to consider here. Let's see what ISO 9001 2015 really requires with regard to risk-based thinking. So risk-based thinking. To conform to this requirement of this international standard, which means ISO 9001 2015 standard, an organization needs to plan and implement actions to address risks and opportunities. So as an auditor, you will have to see whether they are planned, identified the risks, planned to control them, and implemented actions to bring those risks into an acceptable level. What is important is addressing both risks and opportunities. Why the standard requires addressing both the risks and opportunities enables an organization for increasing the effectiveness of quality management system. Effectiveness means whether the organization is achieving the results, achieving its intended purpose of the organization, the very purpose for which the organization was established, whether it is achieving its objectives or not, and achieving improved results and also preventing negative effects or impacts. So, risk-based thinking would ensure that you achieve the effectiveness of an organization's quality management system, achieve the results, and prevent negative impacts. So, it is essential for achieving an effective quality management system. It was in fact implicit in the previous edition of ISO 9001 standard, and risk was not explicitly mentioned, but there were a lot of requirements which are actually risk reduction measures. In the upcoming sessions, you will see how risks and opportunities were all included implicitly in the earlier version of the standard. For example, in the earlier standard, there was a need for preventive action. Preventive action was intended to eliminate the potential causes of nonconformities. So once you look at potential causes of nonconformity means something can go wrong, that itself is risk. So when preventive action was there, that was actually addressing the risky areas that the organization should consider to eliminate them from even happening in the first place. And the standard also required analyzing the nonconformities when they do occur. So imagine you have not considered a situation which might have been beyond the control of an organization. You know that it can happen, but there was no such history that it is so frequently happening or it is so likely to happen. So this was not considered to be a risk, possibly. So no action was taken, but it really happened. So when a non-conformity occurs, you have to really look at why this has happened, what really went wrong, what has to be done, and how you prevent further recurrence of the non-conformity. Risk-based thinking. So what is risk? Risk has been defined as the effect of uncertainty and any such uncertainty that can have positive or negative impacts or effects. Unknown unknowns. Risk is we don't know what might go wrong. These are risks. I will give some example as we move further on the next slide. So some of the risks could be faulty material produced or arrived from the supplier. To your surprise, you got some material which does not meet the requirement. Project delay due to political disturbances or civil unrest can happen. Wrong products delivered from online store. You wanted to have something wrong has come. Quite possible. While transportation, the vessel fell off the trailer and got damaged, causing serious road accidents. It really happened in one of the projects we were involved as inspection company while transporting on the way from UAE to Kuwait. The vessel had fallen off from the trailer and the vessel got damaged, and that significantly delayed the project. It was due to whatever reason. The vehicle either was overspeed, not secured, the driver was not careful. Something has gone wrong. The vessel fell off. A finished vessel about to be installed after a couple of days once arrived, but completely damaged or significantly damaged, required a repair. So that's not what you expect. So there was a risk. That has delayed the project. Coating failed in adhesion test. There are sometimes you have a 3-layer PE coating, for example. So while doing the test, you find adhesion test, whether there is proper adhesion of the coating material failed. We have seen one of the project, a lot of pipes got damaged while transportation. They were stacked in the ship and brick bulk while they were transported, lots of damage on the pipes, and that really caused significant damage to the project. In one of the projects we were involved that we were called for inspection, again that the coating got completely damaged that came from outside the country, imported in ships. The 3-layer PE coating got damaged and that needed a lot of repair time and the project again got delayed. So these kind of things can always happen. So when there is a risk, there could be an opportunity. You have to find what kind of improvement opportunity exists and what should be done in a hospital. For example, a wrong treatment was given, the patient really died, things like that. So now, if I look at what kind of risk can happen and what kind of risk mitigation measures we must have in place. So we have to think what can go wrong in this and how likely it is to happen. And if it happens, how severe it could be. So in that case, what kind of action you can take and who should take it? Who is responsible for implementing those actions, risk control measures? Who is supposed to do what? And by doing that, how frequently you would review whether the risk remains under control and how do you assess the remaining risk after the risk control measures, which are the action, whatever the actions you are going to take. For example, you are going to take certain actions, 1, 2, 3, 4, and some people are responsible. So how much is the remaining risk? And possibly you write down in your comments or remarks that the project went on right, the risk control risk was considered for the project, controls were implemented, and therefore the project was done without any problem. So that's how the risk-based thinking has to be implemented. Now, it is not only risk, you have to think the opportunities as well. Opportunity could arise from a situation which is favorable. A lot of things like COVID has given a lot of risk, but has given opportunity for a virtual training. A lot of companies did not achieve their objectives because you cannot move, you cannot go to a workplace. A lot of business has suffered, but virtual training has become a reality. So new product and service could be developed. There may be opportunity to reduce the waste and improve productivity. There are some room for improvement. Actions to address opportunity can also include considerations for associated risks. So that's what is risk-based thinking that we talked about. So as an auditor, you have to think whether this organization is thinking and managing the business in a way that is appropriate and what in accordance with the expectation of the standard. As an implementer, you will have to look at whether you are considering the risks and bringing them down with implemented controls, and are you operating with the acceptable level of risk which is compatible with this with your risk appetite.